Welcome to Inspire on Leadership. And we are here today with a very, very special guest. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Prerna Shirname, a leadership coach from Harvard University, and my company's name is Inspire on Leadership. And I'm super excited today to have a very, very expert person over here. Her name is Joanne Newborn from Newborn Evolution. And she is a certified lifestyle and a leadership coach. And she's been coaching a lot of people, many of them. And she's also been working side by side. So she's a superwoman, I must say. And and her background has always been into sales and marketing. So she knows the way to lead. So let's bring her on. And I'm super excited to speak on a very, very interesting topic today with her. And she's an expert on that. And first, let's welcome Joanne.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait to jump in and talk about the topic today.
Right. So today we're going to speak on a topic which I think everyone has been grappling with since a few months. Because of the COVID-19 virus, we all have been, under lockdown in our own countries for a phase or for many months. So things have been changing around us. So the topic today is going to be resistance to change and how do we cope with that. So Joanne, the first thing I'd like to ask you is there any way we can deal with resistance to change?
Definitely. Yes. So I first want to point out that it's important to know that we all resist change. It's not this person or that person. It's something that's basically ingrained in all of us. And we have a function of our mind that's called our ego function. And the function it serves is for our survival. It wants to keep us safe and it wants us to survive. So it likes routine. Right. So have you ever noticed, I'm the kind of person, I like to make lists. I like to check off the list. Everyone, for the most part, likes routine. And that's because our mind feels like it's in control when we have routine. So when we have change, our mind starts to freak out a bit. And that's why we're experiencing resistance to change, because it can't keep us safe. But staying safe actually keeps us small, and it actually keeps us in a very limited space. And so our lives actually become very limited and small. We're not really living our lives to our potential when we're resisting change. So I would say the way to work with that is really just to be aware of what I just said, to know that, and then that's okay. And then start to observe your mind when you're resisting change. Start to observe and saying oh, okay, this is my mind trying to keep me safe. This is why I'm resisting change. Because it doesn't feel so awful then when we know the reasons behind it. And so that's the beginning of allowing and accepting change into your life. And then what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to grow and expand. And that becomes the key to really start to attain our dreams.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you said that we kind of our mind kind of saturates when we feel we're in control of everything, because there is no space for more. So I love that, that example that you gave about the ego state. So just to give you an example, I went through it when the lockdown happened. For a few days, I wasn't able to do anything. I just went with the flow, and it got boring after a few days. Initially, the lockdown was for only 15 days. So I was wondering, okay, let it pass. Maybe I'll get on with my life, after that. But the lockdown kept extending, and I just didn't know what to do. So you have to take it in your hands and do it yourself. So I completely agree with that it begins from within.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that, Joanne. And is there any strategy to adjust to these chaotic times that we are all in? Everything is rapidly changing and everything is getting more complex. So do you have any tips for that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
So you hit the nail on the head when you said, like, we are really going through a tremendous amount of change right now. First, it started, like you said, with socially isolating, and then so our minds started to freak out about that. But then I think at some point our mind said, oh, okay, well, we're staying home, that I can keep you safe here in your house. And then things would happen, like I had to go to the supermarket, and going to the supermarket felt really dangerous, right? Because our survival was at risk. So then your mind kind of has to get used to the new norm. So then my mind got used to that. And then we really hit this crazy point. I know here in the United States, where we now had this major social unrest going on at the same time. We had a lot of protests and riots and looting.
Yes.
And so basically, like you said, a time of crisis, our minds were completely freaking out. And so I'm going to give you a little truth bomb right now.
Okay.
We never know what's going to happen, right? So right now we think we're in a space of the unknown, but we're actually in a space of the unknown every single day of our lives. And so before we entered this period of COVID-19 and the pandemic, our mind was kind of faking us out, right? We thought that we had our routine. We thought, oh, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to have my coffee, and then I'll get dressed and I'll go to the office, and then I'll come home and maybe I'll spend some time with the family, or maybe I'll watch TV, and then I'll do it again. But the truth is, we didn't know that that's how the day was going to go. Our mind just sort of like tricked us into thinking that. So really, crisis or no crisis, we're always living in a space of the unknown. It just feels more so right now because our mind doesn't know what's coming next, right? We don't know how long this period of the pandemic will last. And so our mind wants to have this sense of control, and it has no sense of control. So the way to deal with it, and it's a very easy answer, but I think difficult to actually embrace, is really living in the present moment, because all we have is this present moment right now. We cannot go back to the past. That's gone. I don't think our lives will ever go back to that again. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we do have these beautiful present moments right now. And so if we can live in them and we can embrace them and then we can enjoy them as much as possible and feel all the feelings that we're having, we don't have to force ourselves to be happy in uncomfortable situations, but just recognize where you're at right now and know that we always only have this moment. And that's really the easiest way to deal with it.
I love the point that you made, that every day is unknown. I'm going to take this element from here and it's going to stay. It's really stayed with me because that's true. We really don't know what's going to happen the next second. So live every day like it's your last day. I so agree with you on that, Joanne. And it's just the way we look at things rather than things looking at us and, we making it more complex or chaotic. So it completely makes sense. So going ahead, let me ask you, do you have a framework for crisis management?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the term crisis management. It sounds so negative, but what I am a fan of is having a plan B. And that's really something that we can put together and take action on. So, first of all, when we're in a crisis, and I know we're always in a state of the unknown, but I'm not going to negate the fact that we are in a crisis, and crisis management is a real term. So when you're in a crisis situation, first of all, just recognize what you're feeling. If you feel fear, allow yourself to feel the fear. Don't say to yourself like, oh, I'm not supposed to be feeling scared right now, and push it away. Because what'll happen, it'll just keep rising, and
Yes.
you'll think that you're pushing it away, but it'll continue to get worse and build up. So let the fear in. Don't let it overtake you and overcome you, but just say, I'm going to be okay with feeling these uncomfortable feelings right now.
Right.
Once you recognize that, then you can really take action and say, okay, I'm going to put a plan B in place, because the plan B is what's going to empower you, and it's going to put you in a place of like a sense of calm. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say, because I think a lot of people might be in situations like this. Let's say that you hear or think that your company is going to be laying off people because of what's going on.
Right.
Most people will probably panic. They'll start talking to their colleagues every day. Oh my God, what do you think? And people try and start predicting what's going to happen in the future. Is it going to be me? Is it going to be you? And they try and figure it out, when again, it's the unknown. We don't know.
There's a mess created in their own head.
And sometimes it gets worse and worse and worse, and sometimes they might end up being the person who's laid off, just because they've created this state of mind where people pick up on this energy and they're like, oh, I don't think this is like conducive to the company anymore. So instead, feel the fear and then say, okay, how can I empower myself to put a plan together? Put your resume together. Start sending it out. Start sending it out, whether you are going to get laid off or not. It's put your mindset in a place of empowerment. Start networking and talking to people and telling them that you're looking for your next great opportunity. Don't tell them, oh my God, I'm so afraid I'm going to get laid off. My company, no, I'm ready to grow. I'm looking for my next great opportunity. And then really start to hone in on what your strengths are and embrace them. And just know that you're the prize, whether it's at your current company or the next company, and that everything is going to be fine. Like there's really nowhere to fall.
Right.
And I think once you put that in place, then that kind of takes away the crisis. It's not really a crisis anymore, because you have a plan B.
Right. I agree, completely agree. That's where I think the growth mindset comes into place, that it's not about what you are in, it's about what you can do with yourself and how you can get out of that situation, rather than creating that negativity, or like the way you said, that the negative thoughts could attract that, the vibes could be sent that maybe this person is not conducive to the organization, or not good for us. So I like that, when you mentioned that.
And that was just one example. I mean, there's a plan B for any crisis situation. I would even say for what's going on today, I talked to some people and they've had a really hard time socially isolating, and people are bored and they're watching Netflix. Like I've had someone say to me, like, I'm running out of TV shows to watch. And there was panic around that. And I thought, I don't even watch that much TV. This has been such a beautiful time for me to do a lot of things that I never had the time to do before. And I still feel like I don't have enough time. And I talk to other people, and it's been like a wonderful opportunity to spend more time with their children and with their families. And again, like to do projects that they've been wanting to do for a long time. And so that's really all mindset. And so like, what's your plan? What's your plan of action with this situation?
Right. I have to confess, I have also not seen any shows and I feel that maybe I'm lacking somewhere, but I do feel good about working on this side of me. I'm doing something for myself. I've been making videos and making use of my time. Of course, my hands are full with, my daughter being around. But I think I like the fact that I'm investing in myself rather than just, wasting away time. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I would encourage people, we're not going to have this time forever. We're really not. This isn't going to
Absolutely.
last
This is a
forever.
one-off phase.
And when
Right.
this is over, do you really want to look back on it and say, gee, I really wasted a lot of that precious time that I had, you know,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with Netflix. Look, I like to watch like an hour of TV a day. So I've watched shows that I've never watched before, and
Right.
it's been fun.
Right.
But I don't want people to look back on this time and say, gee, I just binge watched TV. And I could have done so much more with my time. I could have written my next great screenplay. I could have, you know, written that book I wanted to write, or whatever it could be.
Right.
You know? So
maybe just, you know, doing something new, trying out something new.
yeah. So, you know, if that's why I don't like the label of crisis. This is actually just a beautiful time of change where we can
Right.
explore growth, our own growth.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joanne, for that. Lastly, I'd like to ask, is there any real life example where you could tell us how were you able to come out of your comfort zone?
So I first of all, I would say like coming out of your comfort zone is something that actually should be done like in little spoonfuls, in small steps. Now, I've seen things where people say like, oh, I'm afraid of heights, so jump out of an airplane. I don't think that your mind actually needs time to catch up to your actions, right? Your actions will take you out of your comfort zone, but your mind actually needs to catch up. So, so I would say doing that slowly. And then I just wanted to give a couple of examples first of like things that we're probably not aware of. So when we're resisting change, we're actually causing ourselves pain. We actually, our cells regenerate every 7 to 10 years. So every 7 to 10 years,
Oh, wow.
we actually kind of
that.
become a new person, but we don't know that's going on. It's just happening. But if we resisted that change, we would be walking around with a body that had dead cells in it, and we'd be holding on to these dead cells and not allowing our body to regenerate or grow the new cells, and that would be really, really painful. And that's what we do when we resist change, right? We're holding on to the past and we're not allowing the growth and the change to happen. So, so I would even say that, hang on, I just lost my train of thought for a second. Oh yeah. So the thing I wanted to say was like, so when we're actually like open to change, we're actually allowing ourselves to feel pleasure. And I know it sounds really weird because we just talked about crisis and we talked about all these things, but when we're open to change, and so people, all of us, we actually fear the unknown more than we actually feel the result of change itself. And so
I completely resonate with that because earlier when everything was normal, I would go and take sessions for like training sessions with, you know, different companies, and it used to be a completely different setting. But again, getting out of that, out of my comfort zone when the lockdown happened, this screen became my friend. And I had to become comfortable on my camera because that's the way I could, you know, connect with others. So I completely agree that first of all, you need to just embrace the change. And that's when I think you'll come out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And so the thing that we also do is I think when we think about change, we automatically think that the result is going to be really horrible, and we never think that the result is going to be good or beautiful. And the truth is, on the other side of change is actually a rainbow, right? We don't we never see the rainbow, or we never think about the rainbow that's on the other
Right.
side. We're just so afraid of what's on the other side.
Right.
So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and then I'll give you an example from me. But
Mm-hmm.
I like science because like I know I talked about ourselves. I like science because, I don't know, science to me seems factual. But if you think about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, or a seed that grows into a flower,
Mm-hmm.
if they resisted change, like, they would never become
Yes,
the beautiful thing.
absolutely.
So a caterpillar, like, think of it in the cocoon. It must be like warm and comfortable in the little cocoon. Probably never wants
Right.
to come out, but it's soon going to start to run out of nutrients. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
outgrow the cocoon. If it resisted change, it would be so painful. And so it
So,
trusts the journey. And that's really what we
right.
lack, is the trust. It trusts the journey. It turns into this beautiful butterfly. And we are like, we don't think twice about it, but it just happens. And the same thing with a seed. It's in the dirt, it's damp, it's dark, it doesn't know what's going on, and yet
Mm.
it fights to grow out of the earth. It must be so difficult to fight its way through the dirt up towards the sunshine, and there it turns into a beautiful flower.
Beautiful flower. I
And
love these examples.
it
This is
trusts
called
the
trusting
journey.
nature. Trust things around you. Trust yourself.
And we don't
I love it.
trust, and that's where our resistance to change comes. And we don't trust the journey. And we really
Right.
need to say, like, if these other things are happening, if the caterpillar is always turning into the butterfly, and the seed is always turning into a beautiful flower, or beautiful herbs, or vegetables, like, we trust the journey. It might be painful at some points, but trust the journey.
And the
And
results, of course, we know. Beautiful results in the end.
yeah, really. And so I'll give you an example from me.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been doing a lot of guest speaking and guest spots, which I've really been enjoying. But I
Right.
had a couple. I like to be prepared, right? My mind likes to know what's going to happen. And so
Right.
I had two interviews with two different people that were very different. And they're like, let's just wing it. And my mind went like, oh my God, this is it. This is going to be recorded and people are going to see it. And both times I had this moment of panic, and I said to myself, don't stop this. Move forward with it. Trust yourself. All of your work. You know this. You write
Absolutely.
it, you teach it, you coach it. Um,
Right.
and I just trusted, and both of them were fine. No one would have known whether I was prepared or not prepared. But I had that moment of panic, but I had to say, I'm going to trust this moment, and not say, stop. No, I can't do this. So that's just a
Wow.
small example.
Wow. So we know how authentic the leader in Joanne Newborn can get. And that's what came out. She came out of a comfort zone, and the authentic her was seen, or, must have been seen in those sessions as a guest speaker with the other people you had a chat with. So I absolutely love that. And these are the leadership qualities that are coming out of you as well.
Thank you.
And any parting thoughts, Joanne, anything that you want to share with the audience,
Yeah.
where they
So,
can find you, and
oh,
about your coaching sessions and your private coaching sessions?
definitely. But I wanted to say one more thing about getting out of your
Sure,
comfort zone. I
sure.
like to compare it to, have you ever gone into a swimming pool and the water was cold? That's how I see getting out of your comfort zone. You go in and you're like, eek, it's cold. And so you stand there
Yeah,
for a few minutes, then your body gets used to it. You take another step in, then it's cold, another step, and then you're all in. And that's the way I like to
right.
think about getting out of your comfort zone. Don't jump out of the airplane when you're afraid of heights. Just,
Go step by step.
yeah, little by little. And
Right.
you know, let your mind get used to it and then really enjoy it. Like we always love being in the pool once we get in.
Right. Oh, I love that, the pool thing. And you can really relate to that example because I think everybody has entered a cold pool once in their lifetime. So they would exactly know what you're trying to say.
So yeah, thank you so much. If people want to connect with me, I have lots and lots of career growth and leadership tools that are all free of charge at my website, newbornevolution.com. And you can also find me on Facebook at Newborn Evolution, or you can connect with Joanne Newborn at LinkedIn. And yeah, I have a couple of coaching programs. One is Blueprint to Your Dream Job. And I've actually been helping people through this time of the pandemic to land their dream jobs. I have 2 clients that landed their dream jobs in the middle of these chaotic times.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, I'm so happy for them. And it really was kind of honing in on the vision that they really wanted, which I kind of think goes back to what you do as far as personal branding. We really honed in on what is really resonating with their heart,
Right.
and what makes their
Right.
heart sing. And then I have
Absolutely.
a longer term private coaching program, which is Trifecta 3 Levels to Success. So anyway, if anyone's interested in learning more, those are the 2 places you can find me. And this has been so wonderful. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joanne. It was a pleasure hosting you. And I absolutely loved chatting with you on the things you mentioned about the change that is going around us. And as everybody knows, change is the only constant thing. And Joanne has shown us the way that how do we adapt to it and how do we come out of it. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.